Okay. For the record, this is going to be position 50 on today's calendar. State of Georgia versus William Harris. Mr. Harris is charged in warrant number 2019 CW 55622 with committing the offense of rape. He's charged in warrant number 2019 CW 55623 with committing the offense of aggravated assault. He's charged in warrant number 2019 CW 55624 with committing the offense of sodomy. He's charged in warrant number 2019 CW 55625 with committing the offense of child molestation. He's also charged in warrant number 2019 CW 55626 with committing the offense of child molestation. And don't have a charge listed for 2019 CW 55627. What is he charged with in this offense?
Cruelty to children, the third degree.
Okay. And I don't have an offense listed for warrant number 2019 CW 55628.
Cruelty to children in the first degree.
Okay.
And Judge, and I just want to make sure for warrant 55626, did you say child molestation or aggravated child molestation?
I have it listed as child molestation, but it's aggravated child molestation.
It is. The warrant lists aggravated child molestation.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Harris is present here in court. He's being represented by attorney Tiffany Pleasant, who's also here. And the state has been, yes, ma'am.
I just want to make certain for the record, I thought you called out 6 warrants. He actually has 7.
Okay. Let's see, 1.
Ending in 55622. I did not hear that warrant called. I just want to make certain.
Yes, that was the first one. That's the charge of rape. Is that what you have?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
55622.
I just want to make certain. I did not hear that. I wanted to make certain that all of the warrants were read into the record.
And I do have 7 listed. And the state is present, represented by Attorney Cheryl Freeman. Mr. Freeman, you can swear in your witness and present your case.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective Baker, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear in affirm that the testimony about to provide in the case of State of Georgia versus William Harris will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please tell us your name.
I'm sorry, you kind of went out.
Please tell us your name and how you're employed.
Sergeant Baker with the Clayton County Police Department.
And Sergeant, how long have you worked with the Clayton County Police Department?
5 years now.
While working with the Clayton County Department, were you assigned an investigation regarding William Harris?
Yes.
And did this investigation involve a female minor? I'm just going to say the last name of Miller.
Yes, ma'am.
And at the time of these allegations, how old was the female, the minor, Miller?
10 years old.
10. Please tell us how the allegations came about.
This was a case that was actually reassigned to me while I was a detective here from another detective. Upon reviewing the case, it was said that the family being the juvenile, her father and her siblings that reside at the 850 King and 850 King Road, sorry. And they had a cousin that visited, a cousin of the father, an adult male by the name of William Harris. Once William Harris left the location and supposedly went back to North Carolina, the victim reported to her father that she was being physically abused and molested by her cousin, which is her father's first cousin.
What was the juvenile able to give a date when these incidents occurred?
She was not able to give exact dates, but she did say it was while he was visiting. She gave an approximate number of times that it occurred and said that it occurred in October or November.
And what year?
This was, I believe this was in 2019. If I'm not mistaken.
Do you have your warrants, Sergeant Baker?
Yes, I would have to get to them to refresh my memory. Sorry, one moment. Okay. And correction on that, it would have been 2018 and reported 2019, January of 2019.
Do you recall, Sergeant Baker, who did the juvenile first make report that her cousin had physically abused her?
She reported it to her father. Well, she did was taken to Southern Regional Hospital and made the allegations there, as well as making the disclosure to her father and her sister, her older sister.
Were you able to speak to her father?
Yes.
After his daughter made the outcry to him, what did he do?
He did have her taken to the hospital in regards to being checked. He did make the report with the police department. Officers were able to respond to the hospital and spoke with the father in regards to what happened or what occurred.
Was a rape kit performed?
A rape kit. I know that she did receive the medical attention at the Rainbow House. Again, it was done prior to being assigned to myself. So I was not 100% sure if the rape kit had been completed, being that it was reported months after being completed.
Okay, and let's go back some. You indicated that the allegations allegedly occurred at, you said 850 King Road. Is that in Clinton County?
Yes.
What did the juvenile victim indicate exactly what her cousin did?
Well, in the forensic interview, she advised that her cousin being the defendant would get on top of her and he would place his penis in her front and in her buttocks. She also advised that he would force her to touch his penis as well, and that he did this multiple times within the home and at another location that she could not recall what the apartment or apartment address was.
Did the juvenile indicate anything that her cousin would say to her?
Yes, she stated that he would tell her to stay still, and also that if she told anyone that he would hurt her or her brother, and that they would end up going into foster care.
When the juvenile victim described what her cousin did, and I know you stated he would get on top of her, and was she able to say whether or not he inserted his penis in her or not?
Yes, she did state that when he would come into the bedroom, he would pull her pants down and he started doing it in her butt. She stated that he would also place his penis in her front. And once that was gone into within the forensic interview, she did state that he would put his penis into her vagina within the forensic interview.
Were there any witnesses to these incidents?
Yes, the juvenile's brother, who is also a juvenile, witnessed the incident. There were instances where it was not witnesses, but there were a few instances or incidents where she advised that her brother did witness the incident, her younger brother.
Was there a forensic interview conducted regarding the younger brother?
Yes.
And what were the results of that forensic interview?
Her younger brother advised that their cousin would go into he was first advised that his older sister, the victim, told him that her cousin, their cousin, would do nasty things to her, which he first did not believe until he saw it. When they went into detail in regards to what he saw, he advised that he would be in the room and their older cousin would come in and get on top of his sister, and his sister would be crying while he's on top of her underneath the covers. He did witness that he saw or physically saw the cousin's penis, and that he was not able to see the victim completely naked. He just saw that the cousin had his pants down and that he was on top underneath the covers. And as he was on top of her, she would be crying.
From the any type of
Ms. Freeman, you just broke up.
Yes, would you restate that question?
okay. Sergeant Baker, were you able to determine from any of the examinations or the interviews whether or not a condom was used?
Yes, the victim did state that at one time the defendant did use a condom. Then she stated other times he did not.
Did the victim receive any type of medical diagnosis as a result of what happened to her?
Yes, ma'am, she did. She did get a forensic medical done at the Rainbow House along with the forensic interview. And it did turn out that the juvenile had obtained sexually transmitted disease, which she was treated for at the Rainbow House.
At any time were were you, Sergeant Baker, were you able to determine with whether or not the defendant had the same STD that the victim had gotten?
No, I was not. I was never able to get in touch or in contact with the victim. I was working around the clock in attempts to get in touch with him and find or locate him, but I was never able to until now that he's in our custody in our jail.
Okay. And just to be clear, because I think you meant to say the defendant, but you said her. I think you said the victim. And so,
I'm sorry.
So just to be clear, I guess let me ask the question again, just to make sure. Were you ever able to determine whether or not the defendant had the same sexually transmitted disease?
Right. I was not able to determine if the defendant did, being that I was not able to get in contact with him.
And since you were able to locate the defendant, have you ever been able to get a statement from him?
No, I was not. I had actually just gotten word that he was within our custody in our jail prior to the hearing.
The 850 King Road, was that where the victim and her father and brother lived?
Correct.
Sergeant Baker, the sexual acts that the victim described, were they all vaginal?
No, ma'am.
What other sex acts did the victim describe?
She described that she was forced to touch the defendant's penis, as well as the defendant placing his penis in her anal area or into her anus.
Did all of this take place in Clayton County?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. No further questions.
Ms. Pleasant?
Good. Sergeant Baker, you testified on direct that a forensic interview was conducted, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
When did that occur?
The forensic interview was done prior to the, prior to me being assigned the case. I believe I reviewed the forensic in November. I would have to refer to my notes to find out the exact date. My review of the forensic was November of 2019.
Do you recall who conducted the forensic interview?
Yes, ma'am. It was our forensic interview at the time, Ms. Nikisha Weekle.
And you indicated the younger brother, what is his age?
I believe he was 8 years old at the time.
And was Ms. Weekle responsible for conducting both forensic interviews?
No, ma'am.
Who conducted the younger brother's forensic interview?
That would have been Miss Wendy Mulder.
So when was his forensic interview conducted?
To get the exact date again, I would have to refer to the notes, but that was after myself being assigned. So that would have been in 2019, after being reassigned the case.
So his forensic interview was not conducted at the same time as Ms. Miller's.
No, ma'am, it was not.
And were both of these interviews conducted by the Rainbow House?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the date range of these alleged incidents?
She advised that it happened in the months of October and November,
Of what year?
2018.
Now, the 850 King Road address, who resides at that location?
The father, along with his children, he has an adult daughter that was there at the time. His younger juveniles, 2 younger juveniles, the victims, and I believe the victim's grandmother.
And where was the adult daughter when these alleged incidents were occurring?
I cannot speak on where exactly she would have been at the time of the exact incidents, but I believe she did work, if I'm not mistaken.
Was she interviewed in regards to these allegations?
Yes, she was.
And the same question for the grandmother, where was she when these alleged incidents occurred?
I cannot recall where the grandmother was. I just know that they were not able to be at home at the time that the father was at work. So he had to get someone to watch it.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
Was she interviewed in regards to these alleged incidents?
The grandmother was briefly interviewed, yes. She was not brought in for a full interview. She was just briefly interviewed in regards to what she knew, which wasn't much.
Okay, so not much, but what did she say?
Nothing in regards to what she knew as far as the incident, other than what the children told her that occurred.
And when did the children make a statement to the grandmother?
I cannot give an exact date as to when they made the statement to the grandmother.
Was it before or after the daughter was taken to the hospital? The alleged
I cannot say for certain if it was before or after.
Okay, same question regarding the adult daughter. Were any statements made to her about these incidents by the alleged victim?
Yes, the victims did make the statements to the daughter when it was disclosed in regards to what happened initially, or while initially, meaning when the incident, prior to the incident being reported to uniform officers.
Okay. So prior to going to the hospital, but you don't recall when exactly that the alleged victim made a statement to her sister?
Right. I cannot recall if it was prior to going to the hospital. I do know, again, being that it was reassigned to me, I can't recall if it was prior to going to the hospital, but I do know that she did disclose to her sister prior to uniform officers.
Okay. And you're not certain whether or not a rape kit was performed?
No, I would have to refer to the notes from the prior detective in regards to it, being that it was done so long ago. Now, I will say that the forensic medical does have that as well. I don't know if Southern Regional did do a rape kit, but within the forensic medical, there were the same practices done by our forensic medical examiner, who was able to provide the medical results for that medical review.
So Southern Regional, what, if anything, did they report with regards to sexually transmitted diseases involving Ms. Miller?
Southern Regional did not report that. That's why I'm stating, because I cannot say for 100% certain, but Southern Regional doesn't typically perform those kind of medical examinations on the juveniles once they have those kind of allegations. So I did not receive any information back from Southern Regional in regards to an examination or in regards to any kind of results that they obtained.
Okay. And going back to Ms. Miller's father, what information, if any, did he provide regarding why Mr. Harris was residing with him?
He advised that Harris visited in regards to watching his children while he was at work, since he did not have anyone or any adult supervision at the home while he was out at work.
And did he give the date range for when he was visiting?
I believe he may have, but I cannot recall off the top of my head. I would have to review the notes or my case file to get the exact dates.
Thank you. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Any follow-up?
Oh, no, Your Honor. State rep.
Okay, may Sergeant Baker be released?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sergeant Baker, you may be released. Thank you for your time. Ms. Pleasant, do you intend on calling any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Do you have any argument?
The state will waive opening.
Okay,
No, Your Honor.
okay. I'm gonna find that evidence is sufficient to bind these 7 charges over to the Superior Court of Clayton County for trial. Mr. Harris, stay in contact with your lawyer. Mr. Harris may be sent back at this time. The next case is, excuse me, it's gonna be Patterson.
Yeah, we're working to get that officer.
Okay, so we'll take about a 5-minute break while you try to reach out to your officer.
Judge, and don't forget to go off of YouTube.